Discover the amazing journeys of poor peasants, heartwarming hides, unexpected places, and life-changing dreams. The small Appalachian town of Whitfield had its share of struggle each day, revealing the resilience of its people. Clara, a 32-year-old single mother, embodied that spirit. With 2 children, Jake and Lily, her love was immense, but her bank account was nearly empty. She woke before dawn to scrub office buildings, the weight of a mop in one hand and her dreams tucked away in the other. As the sun peeked over the rolling hills, Clara left her silent house, listening to the chirping birds whispering promises of hope. The streets of Whitfield were familiar, her footsteps echoing against the worn pavement. She poured every second into her morning tasks, letting thoughts of Jake's laughter and Lily's wild imagination fill her heart. When she managed the local diner during lunch hours, Clara was an artist in her own right, pouring steaming coffee and serving up hearty meals. With each plate, she shared stories of perseverance and resilience, her way of weaving art into her daily grind. Yet, the town held tight to its prejudices, often failing to see the beauty in those who struggled. The stigma of poverty loomed heavy, distorting the true stories of families like hers. One day, an elderly artist wandered into the diner, his paint-stained hands telling tales of creation. He watched Clara as she served customers, and when she spoke, something in her words sparked life in his quiet heart. "You have a gift," he murmured after she shared a tale about 2 kids chasing fireflies. Clara dismissed it with a smile, but deep down, an ember of recognition glimmered. Then, one evening as the sun set like a golden kiss upon the hills, her children found her doodling on napkins. "Mommy, this is beautiful!" Lily exclaimed, her big eyes lighting up like the stars. Jake grinned, "You should show everyone. They need to see your art." Their unfiltered enthusiasm ignited something in Clara, a flicker of an old flame long forgotten, yet, doubt seeped in, fueled by the whispers of townsfolk who scoffed at the notion of a poor single mother daring to dream. As the local art fair approached, the whispers became boulders, threatening to crush her renewed hope. What could she offer? Who would buy from someone seen as less than? Days trickled by like sand through an hourglass. Clara poured her heart into every creation as whispers echoed in her mind. But when disaster struck, a key piece of her artwork shattered, the tremors of despair rattled her core. A tightness gripped her chest, and for a moment, she felt as if failure was her only companion. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just as Clara felt like giving up, something unexpected happened. Whispers turned into conversations. Customers at her diner began to rally around her, exchanging stories of struggle and resilience over cups of coffee. The bonds of community slowly tightened, revealing layers of support she never expected. On the eve of the fair, Clara stood before her mirror, eyes glistening with tears, surrounded by her vibrant canvases. Could she really step into that world, unbroken and hopeful? As doubts danced like shadows, she felt something stir, a flicker of courage ignited within. With the love of her children as her heart's compass, she knew she had to decide. Hidden dreams, like the constellations overhead, waited for her to find the courage to look up and believe they could be hers. With the dawn of the art fair upon her, Clara's heart pounded like a drum. The buzz of the crowd outside grew louder as vendors set up their stalls, filling the air with lively chatter and laughter. It was the moment she had envisioned but also dreaded. What if no one noticed her work? What if her fears drowned her in the sea of artists and onlookers? Clara took a deep breath, capturing the scent of fresh paint mixed with the sweet aroma of the nearby bakery. Lily and Jake's excited chatter filled the surrounding atmosphere, wrapping her in a warmth that felt like a comforting hug. "Mommy, we'll cheer for you," Jake said, waving his little flag, hand-painted with bright colors. His faith in her lit a spark, pushing her forward. Arriving at her booth, Clara surveyed the colorful displays of art. Canvas after canvas told tales of nature, emotions, and memories. Yet, each one seemed to mock her timid spirit. What made hers special? With trembling hands, Clara set up her own work, arranging her pieces, each one a piece of her heart. The hours dragged on. Clara tried to engage passers-by with bright smiles, but the whispers of her doubt lingered. Would they see the stories woven into the brushstrokes? Or would she be just another name lost in the thrumming joy of the fair? Just then, a little girl, no more than 7, stopped at her booth. Her eyes widened as they landed on a painting of fireflies dancing over a meadow. Wow! It's like they're alive! She exclaimed, unable to contain her wonder. Clara's face lit up, the girl's awe washing over her like fresh rain. Would you like to hear how I painted them? Clara asked, her voice finding newfound strength. The girl nodded vigorously, and Clara found herself animatedly recounting the tale behind the artwork, recalling the summer evenings she spent chasing fireflies with her children. As she spoke, a small crowd began to gather, drawn by the warmth of her story and the light in her eyes. Suddenly, the elderly artist who had first recognized her gift appeared at her side, a knowing smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "This is what I meant. Your art is alive," he said softly. "It speaks of heart and home." Support bubbled in her chest, turning into a swell of hope. As the day wore on, Clara sold several pieces, each transaction feeling like a battle won against her insecurities. The whispers of the crowd morphed into applause, laughter, and even tears. Every smile she received solidified the raw bond of her community, the very fabric that had kept her going through troubled times. However, as the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the fair, an unwelcome wave washed over her. Lost in the celebratory atmosphere, she had forgotten the voice of doubt, the one that whispered late at night. Now it swelled, questioning everything she had accomplished. Would this be a fleeting moment? Would tomorrow's sunrise bring back the old fears? Just as she started to lose herself in worries, a man approached her booth, his eyes steady and sparkling. "I'd like to commission you for a piece," he said, holding a small card that seemed to twinkle in the soft light. Clara's heart stumbled as a mix of disbelief and excitement surged. "Me? A commission?" she blurted, hope tinged with disbelief. "Yes, you," he affirmed. "Your art has a depth that is rare and authentic. I believe it can touch lives." Clara stared at him, the realization of what this could mean settling in. Could this be her turning point? Just as she opened her mouth to respond, the crowd erupted in jubilant applause, urging her to speak, to embrace the moment fully. Her voice caught in her throat as the weight of the day's emotions washed over her. Could she really believe this was just the beginning? As she fought back tears of joy, Clara realized that the fears she had battled were now diminished by the hope and possibility in front of her. The path diverged ahead, leading toward uncharted territory, and she couldn't help but wonder, what awaited her beyond this stunning day of transformation. Clara stood at her booth, still feeling the weight of emotions crash like waves against her resolve. The applause faded into a buzz of conversation, and she could feel people milling about, their eyes darting from piece to piece. But deep inside, uncertainty clawed back at her, like a relentless tide determined to wash away her newfound confidence. The man who had commissioned her stood patiently, an air of quiet enthusiasm surrounding him. "Hello," he prompted gently, a warm smile on his face that reached his eyes. Clara blinked, shaking off the remnants of her doubt. "Right. Sorry, I can't believe someone wants to work with me. I don't even know your name." "Max," he replied, extending a hand. "Max Thompson. And I'm glad I caught you before the day ended. I've been following your art. Your pieces resonate in a way most artists only hope for." Her heart fluttered. Recognition, admiration, words that felt foreign and exhilarating. She took his hand, a rush of warmth traveling from their brief contact. "Thank you. That means a lot to me," she said, sincere and awed. Max glanced around, his interest piqued by one of her paintings. The fireflies. I felt something when I saw it. This piece brings back memories of summer for me. Your brush brought life to the canvas. His words were like a balm, soothing the anxious stirrings inside her. Clara could see the spark in his eyes, the genuine appreciation that validated everything she poured into her work. I painted that one after a night spent in the woods with my kids, she explained, her voice gaining strength. Every year, we look for fireflies on the longest nights. It's our little tradition. That sounds magical, Max replied, leaning in closer as he scrutinized the details of the painting. You have a way of capturing moments that are so fleeting, yet so powerful. That's what I want from you for the commission, a piece that tells a story, something that resonates like this. With each word he spoke, Clara could feel her chest swell with the possibility of her dreams unfolding. I'd be honored to create something for you, Max. But I'll need a little time to get it right. Absolutely, he smiled. I believe in letting creativity flow naturally. No pressure. The warmth of his enthusiasm washed over her, reinforcing her conviction. As they discussed ideas and themes, Clara felt the shadows of doubt creep further away. Comfort enveloped her like a cozy blanket, igniting a determination within. The vibrant colors of her surroundings seemed more vivid, more alive. She imagined an expansive canvas filled with swirling hues and intricate patterns, stories told not just with paint, but with emotions. But just as she began to envision herself diving into this new project, a sudden chill swept over the fairground. The loudspeakers crackled, announcing that the event would soon be closing. The warmth of the day started to ebb, and the reality sank in that this beautiful world might drift away for another year. What about you, Max? She asked, hoping to glean more about this intriguing stranger. What draws you to art? He revealed snippets of his life: a small gallery he owned, a passion for supporting local artists, a dream of creating spaces where creativity thrives. Clara felt a kinship with him, realizing he seemed just as invested in the journey of art as she was. As he spoke, Clara couldn't shake the feeling that their encounter was more than mere coincidence. But somewhere in the glee of newfound friendship, a big question tugged at her heart. Would she be able to keep this momentum going? The sun dipped lower, igniting the evening sky with hues of pink and orange. As the last light rapidly faded, Clara made a promise to herself. She would turn this moment, this connection, into a pivotal chapter of her life. As the crowd began to disperse, Max leaned closer, a secretive grin on his face. I believe we're just at the beginning of something incredible. How about we meet again to discuss your ideas further? I have a feeling your journey is only starting. Clara nodded eagerly, the excitement swirling inside her. But her heart still wrestled with the shadows of possibility. She couldn't shake the whisper of doubt, asking if she could really trust this path. What if it led her to something even greater? Or would it spiral into familiar fears? The tantalizing unknown stretched before her, and with it came the question lingering like a melody in her heart: would she be brave enough to follow it? As the last echoes of laughter and chatter faded into the twilight, Clara felt a bittersweet sting in her chest. The fairground, once a lively canvas of color and joy, now drifted into shadows. Yet, amid the fading lights, she felt a spark igniting within her, a flicker of potential that made her heart race. Her thoughts lingered on Max's words, each one a tiny brushstroke on her canvas of hope. Would they meet again? What would it feel like to put her ideas into action? Clara gazed out at the emptying fairground, and for the first time, she felt the limits of her imagination stretch before her like an open road. Clara! The shout broke through her reverie. It was Lucy, her closest friend, bounding toward her with tired but jubilant steps. Did you see the way everyone admired your pieces? You were incredible today. A shy smile crept onto Clara's face. Thanks, Lucy. It's just a lot to take in. Are you kidding? You've got a commission. Her friend's eyes sparkled with excitement. What's next? Are you going to start painting immediately? Clara hesitated, thoughts swirling. I mean, I want to, but... But what? Lucy pressed, her eyebrows arching with curiosity. Clara took a deep breath. What if I can't do it? What if I mess it up? She glanced back at her paintings, feeling the weight of vulnerability that came with creating something personal. With sincerity, Lucy grabbed her hand. Remember when we were kids? You painted that giant mural of a superhero on the wall in your room? You didn't think twice. You just did it because it made you happy. You have to approach this the same way. You've already captured something special. Lucy's words resonated deep within her, igniting a memory of wild colors splashed across the surface of a bedroom wall, where creativity reigned free and self-doubt hadn't yet crept in. You're right, Clara said, determination infusing her voice. I need to trust myself again. Exactly. Lucy beamed. And I'll be your biggest cheerleader. Just think, what if this project leads to even more opportunities? You'll be unstoppable. Clara felt warmth spread through her, a kind of energy that recharged her spirit. She couldn't let doubt define her journey. Her art deserved to thrive, even if that meant stepping boldly into the unknown. As they began to stroll back through the fairground now hushed and flickering under the moonlight, Clara's mind wandered back to Max. His quiet encouragement echoed alongside Lucy's enthusiastic support. Hey, do you think I should reach out to Max tonight? She asked, a flutter of nerves tingling in her stomach. Lucy nodded, pulling out her phone. Absolutely. There's no time like the present. You're a part of the art world now. Let us send him a message. With her friend by her side, Clara opened her phone, her fingers trembling slightly as she typed. Hi Max. I've been thinking a lot about our conversation today. She paused, contemplating how to express the urgency of her excitement and gratitude. Her heart raced as she pressed send, anticipation and fear mixing like a storm brewing inside her. This was it. She had taken a leap toward her dreams, but what if he didn't reply? What if her message fell flat? The vulnerable questions gnawed quietly at her. No backing out now, she muttered, steeling herself against the shadows of doubt that seemed to whisper still. As if on cue, her phone chimed. Clara's heart leaped. She quickly glanced at the screen and felt her stomach drop. It was a reply from Max. Let us meet this week to discuss your ideas. Just like that, the frail thread of doubt began to unravel. Her pulse quickened. The universe was conspiring with her, nudging her forward. See? This is perfect. Lucy exclaimed, squeezing her arm. Clara couldn't help but smile. The road ahead shimmered with possibilities, each moment rich with potential. But at the same time, an underlying tension remained. Would she be ready for whatever lay down that path? One thing was certain, Clara was on the brink of something important. And for the first time in a long while, excitement surged through her. What lay beyond that meeting with Max? Would it be a breakthrough or a new hurdle? With her heart open to whatever was next, she couldn't shake off the exhilaration. Adventure awaited, and Clara was ready to embrace it. The sun had barely risen, casting a golden glow over Clara's small studio as she shuffled through her supplies. The studio smelled of paint and turpentine, familiar scents that wrapped around her like a comforting embrace. Excitement and nerves danced in her stomach. Today was the day she would meet with Max. The thought of finally sharing her ideas made her fingers itch to create, yet self-doubt lingered like a shadow at the edge of her mind. As she meticulously arranged her brushes, Lucy arrived, her energy spilling into the room. Are you ready? She asked, her tone a mix of encouragement and enthusiasm. Clara nodded, though her heart pounded in her chest. I've never felt so exposed. What if he thinks my ideas are silly? Clara. Just remember he's the one who wants to meet you. You're the artist here, not him. He needs what you have to offer. Lucy was relentless, her hands on her hips as if she were willing Clara to see the truth. I know. Clara sighed, biting her lip. But what if he doesn't see the vision as clearly as I do? That's the beauty of collaboration. He might just help you see it even better. Lucy's smile brightened the room. Just think of today as a chat over coffee. You know more than you think. You've put your heart into this. Clara took a deep breath, letting Lucy's words wash over her. She gathered her sketches and a portfolio of her previous work. With each piece she touched, a flicker of pride ignited. These were her creations, reflections of her spirit. As the hour approached, they ventured out into the world bustling with morning energy. The streets were alive with people setting up for the day, sounds of laughter and chattering kids filling the air. Clara felt a strange mix of dread and excitement swirling within her. Max is going to love this, Lucy assured, pulling her along as they neared the cafe. Clara squinted through the windows. Max was already seated, his profile matching her memory, thoughtful, engaged. Here goes nothing, Clara whispered, her heart racing as they entered. Hey, Clara. Great to see you. Max stood, his warm smile instantly easing her nerves. As they exchanged pleasantries, she felt the weight of doubt begin to lift. Before long, they settled into the faded leather chairs, the smell of coffee wafting around them. The conversation flowed smoothly, initial small talk fading into deeper territory as Clara began to share her vision. I want to create something that speaks to the community, you know. Something that captures our stories, our struggles, and our joys. Clara felt every word resonate with passion, emboldened by Max's attentiveness. I love that idea, he said, leaning forward, intrigued. What if we created a mural that showcased different moments in our town's history? We could incorporate faces, names, experiences. It'll be like weaving a tapestry of our shared identity. Inspired by his enthusiasm, Clara found her nerves dissolve completely. They went back and forth, ideas bouncing like a vibrant game of catch, each suggestion adding layers to their shared vision. But as the conversation flowed, a nagging thought crept in. What had initially felt like excitement now held an underlying pressure. Could she truly deliver on this grand vision? Just as she was about to voice her concern, Max interjected, Clara, this is going to be special. I see this passion in you, it's contagious. His confidence ignited something in her. Clara took a moment to soak in this newfound partnership before pressing on. What if we also included local artists? We could invite them to contribute. Make it a community effort. Exactly. Max's enthusiasm mirrored her own. We could even host workshops to teach others about the process. It'll be a moment of unity. As they both pondered the exponential possibilities, Clara glanced down at her coffee cup, lost in the bubbling excitement of collaboration, but underneath that, self-doubt clawed at her again. A tiny voice whispered ominously, what if everyone rejected their work? Clara? Max's voice broke through her reverie. Are you with me? Of course. She replied, forcing a smile, yet inside, the uncertainty still fluttered relentlessly. Was she truly ready to embrace this? The journey ahead was full of promise, but also daunting shadows. As they wrapped up the meeting, exchanging plans for their next steps, Clara stepped outside into the sunlight, feeling a spark ignited deep within. But lurking beneath that excitement was another question: what if this was all a bit too much for her to handle? One thing was clear, this journey had only just begun, and Clara was standing at the threshold. What awaited her on the other side? As Clara stepped out of the cafe, the bright sunlight wrapped around her, momentarily chasing her doubts away. Birds chirped cheerfully above, and the laughter of children echoed nearby, but even in such a vibrant setting, she couldn't shake her unease. Did you see his face? Lucy broke the silence, practically bouncing on her feet. I mean, he really loved your ideas. You crushed it. Clara managed a modest smile, but the swirl of thoughts in her head was loud. Yeah, but what if I mess it up? What if I let everybody down? Lucy rolled her eyes playfully, nudging Clara with her shoulder. You won't. You're a natural. Look at how alive you were sharing your vision. This is your moment. They walked towards Clara's studio, but she felt every step heavier than the last. The bright paints and canvas awaited her, but doubt clung to her like a second skin. It's just that we're talking about involving the community, and that's a lot of responsibility. Come on. You're not getting stuck in your head on me now. You have to challenge yourself. Remember that mural, what it could mean for everyone? Lucy's encouragement was unwavering. You don't even know how many people will connect and be inspired. Clara nodded, momentarily caught up in Lucy's enthusiasm. They reached her studio door, and with a deep breath, Clara pushed it open. The familiar scent of paint greeted her like an old friend, sparking her creativity even in the shadow of uncertainty. Let us work on your ideas right now. Lucy insisted, already rummaging through Clara's supplies. Let us throw paint around and see what sticks. With a reluctant chuckle, Clara joined her, but as they laid out sketch pads and began to brainstorm, her mind raced with worries. Designing a mural meant exposing parts of herself, parts that were raw and could be rejected. What if her art didn't resonate? What if she poured everything into it, only to find it was a failure? Hey, I can see the wheels turning in your head again. Focus. Lucy teased, throwing a brush toward Clara. Paint your thoughts. Go wild. Clara picked up the brush and hovered above the canvas. Her heart thudded heavily, her breath shallow. She let the colors flow, each stroke a mix of excitement and fear. With every splash, vivid scenes began to emerge, people laughing, stories being told, moments shared. Midway through a swirling design, Clara faltered. What if people don't understand my vision? What if they look at it and feel nothing? I want it to mean something. Lucy stepped back, her hands on her hips, assessing the growing masterpiece. Clara, art isn't about perfection or universal approval. It's about expression. It's your voice. And your voice is powerful. Feeling a mix of tears and anger, Clara whispered, what if I can't find that voice? Suddenly, a heavy silence hung between them. Lucy's face softened, and she stepped forward, laying a comforting hand on Clara's shoulder. Clara, every artist gets scared. It means you care. But you have to trust yourself and your community. If they feel what you're trying to express, it's worth it. Clara took a deep breath, letting Lucy's words settle into her heart. She glanced around her studio, her sanctuary. Okay, maybe I can do this, she said tentatively, determination threading through her voice. The day wore on as they painted, ideas blooming into color. Clara felt a flicker of excitement, the warmth of possibility sparking within her. But deep down, a different fear gnawed away. What if this mural didn't bring people together? What if her vision for unity fell flat, as the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the floor? Clara rarely let go of her brush. Instead, she continued layering colors, her heart still uncertain, but hopeful. If it was going to be a community effort, she would channel that energy into her work. She had to believe in it, and then, just above a burst of bright yellow, a thought struck her like lightning. What if we created a real event? Something big to launch the mural? Like a festival? Lucy's eyes lit up. Yes. A community festival, the unveiling. We could showcase local talents, involve schools, have food stalls, activities. Clara's words flowed like paint. Lucy bounced on her heels, a grin spreading wide. That's it. Share the process and the final result. It'll draw everyone in. As they both got lost in planning, Clara found excitement mounting in her chest, a feeling of belonging igniting within her. But still, a question lingered, chasing around her mind. Was she ready for the commitment that came with it all? With her thoughts racing into the night, Clara couldn't help but wonder how far they could take this. What was waiting on the horizon? Clara stayed up late that night, scattered sketches and half-finished ideas dancing on the walls of her studio. The vibrant colors felt like a breath of life under the dim light, but her excitement intermingled with persistent anxiety. She wrapped her arms around herself, feeling both empowered and terrified as she contemplated the festival. Would this venture pull her community together? Or would it reveal all the ways she felt inadequate? The next morning, Clara woke with the first rays of sunlight streaking across her room. She glanced at her phone, scrolling through messages. Lucy had sent a flurry of ideas for festival activities, local talent shows, community art installations, and even a collaborative mural. Each suggestion sent butterflies flitting in Clara's stomach. The more they talked about it, the more real it felt. "Okay, let's South meet at the park later." Lucy texted, her enthusiasm shining through the screen. Feeling an unlikely spark of courage, Clara replied with a quick thumbs up. As they walked beneath a blanket of blue sky, Clara felt a mix of dread and excitement in her chest. Her mind spun with visions of the festival. How would they spread the word? Would people actually come? She let out a nervous laugh as Lucy strolled confidently beside her, striking up conversations with neighbors and vendors they passed. Their first stop was a local bakery, whiffs of fresh bread and pastries wafting through the air. Clara's stomach growled. Over coffee and muffins, they mapped out their plans on a napkin, scribbling wildly with excitement. "Let us get the schools involved," Lucy suggested, her bright eyes full of determination. "They could paint mini murals." Clara nodded, the idea bouncing around in her head. "And we could invite community organizations. Everyone could contribute. That's it. This isn't just your mural anymore, it's a voice for the community," Lucy added, her voice rising with enthusiasm. But just as Clara was about to embrace the idea, a shadow of doubt crept back. What if they don't want to get involved? What if they ignore us? Lucy took a moment to sip her coffee, her expression softening. "Clara, remember why you wanted to do this in the first place. Your art matters. People will see that. And if they don't feel it at first, we'll just keep inviting them until they do. We need them to be part of this." Clara bit her lip, the warm resolve in Lucy's voice steadying her nerves. "You're right. It's going to take some convincing, but we'll make them see." With renewed determination, they left the cafe buzzing with ideas. They spent the afternoon crafting flyers, reaching out to local artists, and visiting schools. Clara's heart soared as she saw a flicker of interest from neighbors and children. Then, an unexpected knock at her door shifted her focus. Clara opened it to find a man in work clothes, holding a paintbrush and a friendly smile. "Hey, I heard you're working on a mural project. I'd love to help out." His surprise visit was a boost Clara hadn't anticipated. "Really? That would be amazing." As they chatted, Clara found herself swept up in his enthusiasm. The fear that had gripped her for so long began to loosen its hold. Little by little, she was weaving the fabric of community around her. Maybe this was what it meant to be an artist, not just to create, but to connect. By evening, Clara returned home feeling lighter. She flopped onto the couch, exhausted yet exhilarated. It was happening. But with the excitement came a nagging thought: what if the festival didn't go as planned? What if it fell flat? That night, she lay awake staring at the ceiling. The uncertainty hung like a cloud. What if her vision for unity unraveled before her eyes? As she finally drifted off to sleep, one question lingered: could vulnerability be her greatest strength? What if, in opening herself up, she discovered something she never knew she was looking for? The next morning, she would have to confront that question head-on. Would she be brave enough to invite her community into her heart? Clara woke to the soft light filtering through her curtains, her heart still racing with excitement and trepidation. Today would be different. Today, she would reach out, no more hiding or second-guessing herself. After a quick breakfast, she grabbed her sketchbook and headed to the park where she and Lucy had agreed to meet. The air was filled with the scent of flowers and the distant sounds of children playing. As she walked, she felt the warm sun on her face, a gentle reminder that new beginnings often came with the light of day. Clara found Lucy already there, chatting excitedly with a group of kids who were gathered around her. They were laughing, their faces bright with enthusiasm as Lucy animatedly described the festival. Clara's heart swelled at the sight. This was exactly what she had hoped for, the spark of excitement radiating from their small community. "Hey, look who's here!" Lucy called, waving her over. The kids turned to Clara, their eyes wide with anticipation as they eagerly asked her about the mural she envisioned. Clara felt a rush of warmth wash over her. "Maybe we could design it together," she suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. The kids erupted with joy, their ideas bouncing off one another, dreams of dragons and flowers, rainbows and superheroes. Clara jotted down their wild imaginations, the sketches transforming into a living tapestry of their hearts. She marveled at how effortlessly they created connections, their laughter echoing as they spoke of what the mural could represent. It was a reflection of their shared spirit. As the day unfolded, Clara and Lucy found themselves moving through the park, engaging more people. They shared their vision, inviting friends and neighbors to join the project. But with every invitation came the familiar flutter of anxiety. Would they agree? Would they show up? Clara spotted Mr. Rodriguez, the elderly man who painted floral designs on fences around the neighborhood. He was sitting on a bench, watching passers-by quietly. She took a deep breath, approaching him. "Mr. Rodriguez," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "we're planning a mural for the festival. I would love it if you could join us." His eyes twinkled. "A mural? You mean to liven up this old town?" Clara nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "I haven't seen much color here in a while. Count me in." The relief that washed over Clara felt as if a dam had burst. She continued to gather momentum, inviting anyone she met. Some were hesitant, others afraid to express their creativity. "What if I mess it up?" one woman asked, gnawing on her lower lip. Clara stepped closer, her heart echoing the uncertainty she once felt. "What if we all mess it up? It just means we're trying. Art isn't about perfection, it's about connection." She watched as that small revelation flickered across the woman's face, igniting a spark of interest. The evening brought Clara back home, but her mind was still swirling with ideas and hopeful possibilities. They had gathered a small group, but it was a start. She couldn't shake the fear that lingered below her excitement. What if when everyone came together, the dream fell apart instead of blossoming? As she settled into bed that night, the question loomed larger than before: would she be able to let go of her fears enough to let others in? The journey felt imminent. And tomorrow, they would meet again at the park to sketch out their ideas, an open invitation to the world beyond her door. Clara was ready, at least she thought she was. Yet, deep down, she wondered if allowing herself to be vulnerable would change everything, or if it would expose her even more. That thought held her captive as sleep began to take over. Tomorrow, Clara would face her community, her fear, and perhaps, her true self. Would she find strength in their connection, or would the weight of her vulnerability shatter everything? Clara awoke to the sound of her alarm piercing the quiet of the morning. The sun was just rising, spilling golden rays across her room, and for a moment, she lay there, stirring with a mix of dread and excitement. The day stretched before her, full of promise and tension, and she couldn't help but feel her stomach twist in knots as she thought about the sketches they'd create at the park. After a hurried breakfast, Clara slipped on a light cardigan. The morning air carried a hint of coolness. Her sketchbook felt heavy in her bag, but it was the weight of potential an anchor as she headed out the door. Every step to the park was punctuated by the thrumming of her heart, louder than the sounds of chirping birds. Upon arrival, she spotted Lucy setting up a makeshift table with colored markers fanned out like an artist's palette. Around them, a small crowd was gathering, curious faces peering through the sunlight. Clara's heart swelled at the sight. With every new arrival, her fears began to inch backwards. Maybe they all genuinely wanted to be a part of this. "Good morning, everyone," Clara called, her voice quaking but filled with determination. She glanced at the group: Lucy, the kids, and even Mr. Rodriguez from yesterday, who was setting up his folding stool, ready to contribute his flair to the mural. "Today, we're going to bring our ideas to life." The chatter in the air turned electric. Ideas and laughter flowed freely. It was a beautiful chaos. Clara glanced down at her sketchbook, its blank pages staring back at her. She wondered how she would translate the buzz of inspiration into art. But as Lucy began guiding the kids on how to draw their own designs, Clara felt encouragement swelling within her. "Let us start with what represents us, what we love about this place," Lucy exclaimed. Kids jumped in with excitement, each eager to share their vision. Clara knelt beside a little girl who was drawing a sun with sunglasses, surrounded by mountains and trees. As Clara reached out to help her color the sun, she remembered her own fears of inadequacy. They felt so small compared to the joy in that moment, fears that had nearly held her hostage yesterday. "Great job. What's the sun doing?" Clara asked, her voice soft with genuine interest. "Waving to everyone," the girl replied, her eyes sparkling. That single exchange ignited a spark in Clara's chest. She moved from child to child, encouraging their creativity, sketching alongside them. Each friendly exchange soothed her apprehension, and slowly, she began to see a vision emerge from their collective ideas, a mural that was not just hers, but the community's heart laid bare. Just as Clara started to feel the initial burst of inspiration fueling her confidence, the sound of an approaching vehicle drew her attention. A truck rolled into the park, and the sudden commotion arrested her thoughts. "What is going on?" Clara wondered aloud, her heart picking up speed again. From the truck jumped a group of teenagers, laughter spilling out as they spilled canvases and paint tubes onto the grass. Clara felt a swell of uncertainty creeping back in. Would they disrupt their artistic flow? Would they dismiss the project? But as they strolled toward Clara's group, she noticed their eyes darting over the sketches and listening intently. Their curiosity was genuine. "Hey! What's this mural about?" One of them called out, the smile on their face adding warmth instead of judgment. Clara exchanged glances with Lucy and the kids, her heart racing as she leaned into this unexpected unfolding. "It's a mural for the festival. We're capturing our community together," Clara called back, a newfound strength in her voice. The teenagers approached, engaged and inviting, the air thick with an exhilarating possibility. Clara couldn't help but wonder what if they could all create something bigger than she initially imagined. Something that melded their separate stories into one vibrant piece of art. As ideas flowed between both groups, Clara felt like she was teetering on the edge of something monumental. In that instant, she realized the mural could represent more than just art. It could be a bridge to connect them all, but a flicker of doubt returned. What if the collaboration fell short, or worse, what if their unique voices drowned in the chaos? Clara turned back to the gathering crowd, ready to lead them into the creative frenzy. Deep down, her heart ached with the thrill of the unknown, as well as the fear of potential rejection. Could she truly embrace the vulnerability of inviting everyone in? As excitement bubbled around her, she fought through the cloud of uncertainty. And just like that, Clara knew this was just the beginning. But what she didn't expect was how far-reaching those connections could become. Would they weave a strong tapestry of art, or would they unravel under the pressure of so many voices? Clara stood at the heart of the park, her arms stretched out like a ship's sails catching the wind. All around her, children, parents, and teenagers mingled, sharing laughter and ideas that danced like fireflies in the air. Her heart raced as excitement surged through her, building upon the foundation of every dream and fear she had harbored so long. With each sketch they created, she felt the mural transforming into something greater, a tapestry of stories from every corner of Whitfield, each contribution a thread in this collective masterpiece. As the sun climbed higher, bathing the park in warm light, Clara gathered everyone, breathing deeply to anchor herself. "All right, everyone. Let us bring our ideas together. Each mural segment will tell a story. What do you love most about our town?" A chorus of voices erupted around her. "The woods. The river. My grandma's garden." Each shout fueled her spirit, and she jotted down ideas, feeling the weight of uncertainty lift just a little. These stories were pure and essential, and Clara realized this was not just her project. This was theirs. As the day wore on, canvas after canvas blossomed with colors and expressions. Each participant took ownership, dipping brush to paint and splattering their light onto the shared space. Clara felt herself blending into the crowd, no longer separate but interwoven with the community's heartbeat, each brushstroke echoing the profound connection she was forging. But even in the warmth of creativity, doubt snuck in like a thief in the night. What if some pieces didn't fit together? What if their dreams clashed in colors too bright or shadows too dark? Clara's mind raced, yet as she took a step back, her heart swelled. The mixture of styles and backgrounds began to shimmer with potential. They were creating harmony through contrast, a reflection of their lives intertwined. Late afternoon arrived, and Clara heard laughter ringing like music. She turned to find Jake and Lily painting side by side with other children, their faces painted with joy and determination. "Look, Mommy. This is the river," Lily chirped, brightening Clara's spirits. She knelt beside them, embracing that moment full of love. Featuring their little family on the mural would make it a part of her legacy, something they could cherish forever. As the last rays of sun dripped across the horizon, casting a magical glow over the toiling artists, an elderly woman approached Clara, eyes glistening with delight. "I saw your flyer and wanted to help," she said, holding a bag of brushes and some old paints. Clara's heart fluttered, another soul stepping forward. "Thank you," she exclaimed, embracing the woman warmly. Together, they painted, and as the sun dipped low, casting shadows that danced like memories, Clara caught a glimpse of the finished mural. It was raw, imperfect, yet incredibly beautiful. Each choice added character, as colorful stories whispered of struggles and triumphs, love and resilience. Then, with the festival only days away, Clara gathered her friends, family, and all those who had worked on the mural. Under a sparkly string of lights, touching hearts gathered to celebrate. Inviting everyone had become her strength. Lucy raised her glass, balancing a giant smile. "To Clara and to this stunning community effort. You brought us all together." Cheers rang out, echoes of gratitude and pride swirling into the starry night sky. Tears of joy filled Clara's eyes, warmth glowing from her chest. No longer carrying the weight of doubt alone, she shared this moment with the people she had once thought would dismiss her dreams. As she looked out at the crowd, Jake and Lily high-fiving neighbors, the teens feeling empowered, and the elderly artist sharing wisdom, Clara recognized something monumental. She had invited them in, and together they built a space of unity that nourished every heart involved. In that connection, she found herself the artist, the storyteller, the mother. "I will always paint, but more importantly, I will always share," she whispered to herself, knowing there were deeper stories yet to unfold. As the first fireworks lit the sky, not only did they light up the mural, they ignited Clara's future. She smiled, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited. Today had proven that vulnerability could wield strength, and together, they forged a brighter path. Now is your time. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show love. Comment with your reactions and feelings about this spectacular ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second, only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.